That's our webinar link. Okay, if you open that, you will see our record of what we've done so far. And a quick reminder that we started by discussing Hugging Face a long time ago, December 9, 22. Now, in modern development time, that is Stone Age. It's just going too fast. But then, of course, OpenAI appeared. So we switched to discussing more of OpenAI. And right now, today, I want to do this. And you see, we discussed a lot of different things. And for today, June 23rd, I wanted to talk about OpenLLMs, but I'll have to change that. I'll tell you what I will do. So on this disclosure, what I'm going to talk about is the state of my own project, because I'm implementing everything that I'm advising you to learn and learning myself. And therefore, that is what we will do today. So that's a little bit for the future. And I'll tell you why, but I'll show you the state of my project. Well, the structure of these webinars is like this. I'm just showing you exactly what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and I'm showing what can help you to do the same. That's because you all heard, of course, that millions of startups want to add AI or ChatGPT into their daily operation, into whatever they do. In my case, I am using ChatGPT everywhere as an advisor. So let me show you what I've done so far. This ChatGPT, first of all, I'm part of the Casify startup that I will show you in a second. And as part of the startup, it falls on me because I'm right now the only guy with more or less enough spare time. I do the sales. How do I do the sales? I ask ChatGPT, how would I do sales and marketing? He gives me the whole program. That's marketing. So I do the marketing, and when I can assign other people to it, I do it. But maybe I shouldn't just talk about this, but show it will be much more helpful. Here it is. Drive. That's sales and marketing created mostly with ChatGPT. I thought I saw a news piece yesterday that somebody says, well, give ChatGPT 100,000 and see if it converts into $1 million. And that will be a good test. They haven't done it, but I'm essentially doing the same thing. So first of all, I said, hey, GPT, go create a marketing plan. It created a marketing plan. That is its marketing plan. These are the things that it showed on the left. I reformatted it a little bit. Maybe I could have asked it to do this format right away, but it helped me to copy and paste separately because I'm slower than it is. Okay, then I assign people when I could assign people and so on. That was for sales, the marketing. But sales, as I learn, not being a professional in this area, I am a developer after all. Marketing and sales are different, so, oh no. This is the sales part of that. Here you are. Okay, so you can read it. That's what you would expect from a professional, but it's nice because I don't have to ask a professional. So in this discussion that's ongoing, will ChatGPT help me or hurt me? In my case, it always helps in the sense that I ask it to do what it can do, and then I do what I can do, and it works wonderfully well. So that was the startup part, but today I'm going to talk about the project, the actual projects. So here you are, and I'm inviting you, as you see, to my own lab. because I work mostly in this environment, that's Ubuntu desktop. And that's why today I'm not talking from my regular Mac, but from Ubuntu, because everything is there. So I have a few projects that are related to ChatGPT. I prepared the folder, of course, and my team members take these same courses, and then they go and begin to get familiar with the project. So project number one. Project number one is called Moses AI. That's my own personal pet that I like. I have created a commentary on every page of the Talmud right here. Talmud, of course, is Jewish learning, so me being a Jew, me is doing that. And here you can talk to Moses AI about this. So what I've done is technically, I have prepared an index on Pinecone. Now, back to the architecture. So what you need is, we need to ask questions and answer based on the content of those 2,700 pages of the Talmud. I wanted primarily to go to this body of knowledge and then add anything from its own if it finds it advisable. But it's changing its answers. I noticed that I didn't change the architecture, didn't change anything else. So here's what I do, and now that is practical, because before I was just saying, just do it like that. Trainers, they do this. They just wave their hands and they say, that's very easy to do. But the truth is, questions anonymous. Hi. Okay. Nice. Whatever guys say, I say answer something so that you can also see that. Okay. So the architecture of your modern application, and it's so useful that I should hide it, but instead I'm giving you everything. Okay, you go to Pinecone. Here's Pinecone. Pinecone.ai, IO. Okay. You log in. And you create an index. Now, it's called index, but we must be much more detailed in what it means. Index is very similar to a database. So each database is running on its own cluster. Each individual cluster, when it is running, is $70 a month. Well, that's expensive. I don't like it at all, but you get one free cluster to start with. So you can start playing for free, and Moses is exactly there. I think it's a free version. And you create a special kind of database. It's a searchable database. A regular database, they have the key and then come all the value. This database has a very long key. How long? 1,536 elements in each key. But what you get in return is a syntax search. Regular databases, you give it the key that you get back the value. These databases, which are really search index databases, you give it a query, it finds the closest query, closest key to this one, and gives you back the answer. All right. So that's what you create first. As you can see, I have other indices, and I'll show them to you later. And I'll show you how we deal with $17 a month also. But in the end, you get to ask that engine, give me similar documents. That's problem number one solved. Next is you say, okay, I get the background information, or ChatGPT calls it context. So you supply 5 documents out of here, or 10, or 20. That's up to you. And that's one of the things that you need to fine tune, because sometimes it likes few documents, sometimes it likes more. It depends upon what your documents are and what your application is. That's where it becomes a lot of fine tuning, just like you used to fine tune up, so to say, your engine. So here, the same thing. So once you find these similar documents, you go to ChatGPT now and you say, hey, ChatGPT, so here are the documents that you need to consider, and here's my query. And it gives you the answer. So I use this project as a training ground. It's not a money-making thing at all. It's about knowledge. But you go to Moses AI API and you ask your questions. So let's do this. So try it out, ask many questions. Well, who should I marry? And let's see if it gets any idea about this. I'm happily married, but I'm interested in what's the advice. Hey, drum roll. Let's go. As an AI, I cannot provide you any advice. Choosing a life partner. Okay. That's generic. It didn't use any of my can you marry and non-Jew. Now, I understand that I'm getting to very sensitive political subjects, but look at me as a representative of a certain culture, and let's see what the Talmud thinks about this. And by the way, all opinion of mine, so I can say anything. According to traditional Jew, a Jew cannot marry a non-Jew, and if he does, that's not recognized. On, but I really want something from my text. I recognize this as not so much my text. Tell me about slavery. Um, And that's why it was good for me to test it on something that I know reasonably well. Let's see what it says. Takes a lot of thinking. And it's very hard, or other people are loading it as I speak to you. Okay, it was very hard, but that is the information from my summaries of the Talmud. I recognize that. It doesn't really matter what it says here. It matters that it reasons, it understands. Okay, that's my playground. I close that. And now I will talk about something else. And that is part of the application. First, I will show you the application. It will be more interesting if you see what's going on. Okay. That is this application for lawyers, for criminal lawyers, which is a different breed, different kind of law. And in this one, I can look at any case, like I created Winnie the Pooh who ate too much honey, his case. And this is a test environment. So in that one, I will the Casify AI. And now we can ask a question. Now, this is not about Winnie the Pooh. I mean, that particular case is not connected to the Casify AI. Instead, I have a real case that's connected there. And let's say, what are the challenges? Now, if something doesn't work, then I apologize. It doesn't know, okay? Because I have not added the new documents. So in the complete environment, I should add new documents using this, okay? That's what I'm using. That's my complete lab. So that is something that sends request to my FAST API. Therefore, here's what I'm doing. Show me the whole index, and that will allow me to introduce the idea of an index. So here's the index. It's looking at the index in Pinecone here, except that it's looking at another project right here, which has its own index. So again, $70, that's really burned my imagination, let's say, until I realized that I can put absolutely all cases. So in this application, there is a case ID. This case is number 4. Well, for each of these cases, Pinecone gives you a namespace. And you can have as many namespaces as you want. At least practically, I think it's millions. Now, you're only limited by the size of the cluster that you created. So when you create this index, you call it a cluster. It really runs on, I think, 5 machines or something like that. And therefore, each case ends up in its own namespace. So namespace is a Pinecone concept. Therefore, my case ID is exactly Casify namespace. And that what I showed you right here, Postman, is an engine to send requests to my FAST API. So right now, as you can see, describe index, there is nothing and no namespaces. Oh, 159. Well, let's clean it. Clean the 159. Okay, very fast, cleaned it. Then I can say, show me it again. Describe index. It should be clean. Okay, then I take a court document or police report. I'll do both. So that's the police report that I'm sending to FAST API. FAST API will store it in Pinecone. So I'm taking this file, which has 40 pages, and sending it straight into Pinecone. Now, sending a document shouldn't be hard, but ChatGPT won't like it for that, because you need to send ChatGPT the context. And if the context is very extensive, then ChatGPT, first of all, you're paying for every word. And secondly, there is a limit, 4,000, and maybe it is increased to 6,000 words in a question, but that's all. And that's not really smart. Well, so my software broke it into, it was about 40 pages, about 226, well, exactly 226 paragraphs. And these paragraphs ended up in the index. So if I now describe an index, I expect it to tell me here that there is one namespace, 159, that's my case number, and 226 vectors there. Wonderful, right? I hope I explained it well what happened. I'm sending the document, I'm breaking it into 226 paragraphs, the paragraphs are there. Then I want to also send I want to send the court document. Now, court's document are different from police. First of all, police reports are readable. They're PDF, but that's the PDF where you can get directly the text. So that works without modifications. Now, these documents are paper, and so I need to OCR them. Then they come in a very funny format. There are, I could even show you these documents, but there's nothing fun to look at it. It's all paper. It has a little number on the left for every line. That's because we're ancient, and we want the judge to say to the lawyer, oh, it is on page 24 line 5. Well, you need to do something with those numbers. And I thought of all ways of removing them until I showed them to ChatGPT. It said, oh, that's a Core document. I know what to do with them. Don't worry. You don't have to remove those numbers. So, okay, so I'm sending it the Core document. And it's getting it. And it's saying now that I broke it into, let's see. It already told me 333. There were 20 pages, but it broke into a bit more and sent it there. Now I can describe my index. Now my index should have 226 plus 333. N'est-ce pas? Let's look. Yes. Okay, that's complete. Now I can ask questions. So let's go and see what were the charges. Well, that's my question. I'm asking now. I'm going to, the previous answer was Corsini was booked for these charges. I looked it up. It makes sense to the lawyers, not to me, but let's run. It's somewhat different. He found 2 charges for this guy. Okay. Well, let's ask another question because that only referred to police document. So I verified that it knows about the police report, but I didn't verify anything about the court document where it says judge thought so and so. That's my question here. What did the judge recommend? That's my previous answer. Let's look now. The judge recommended this and that. So that's my environment and my lab built in an application, the AI part of this application on the back end. But now I want to go here because I know that this is hard-coded and yes, I will explain the architecture. I just thought it will be interesting to see if that's resolved. Something is broke in this part of that. He's probably asking the wrong question. So that's an integration that we're working on. What did the judge say? But I don't expect much here. I'm just showing that these answers that I was getting from the API should show, oh, look, it is making sense that they should really consider probation. And that's indeed what the judge said. Isn't that amazing? Okay, architecture. So I show you how you can learn how to do it and then what the real architecture is. You learn to do it here. So you go back to advanced. That's our thing. Go up a little bit. These are the courses. So the time has come when knowledge is abundant and moreover it's free. So these 2 courses are what you need to learn. And there was one course before. That's the first course that you need to learn. Now, I'm not copying pasting it because you have this document altogether, but let's go there. This is a course from Andrew E. Continue as me. Verify that me is me. And that's course on prompt engineering for developers. What it does is shows you how to, first of all, talk to ChatGPT. That's 1 second. That's not really, anybody can talk to ChatGPT. But how can you talk to ChatGPT submitting your questions? No, I'm not going to run it. Submitting your questions through the script. So show us the script, and if not, I'll show you the script. Okay, that's the script. So you listen to the guys here, guys and girls here, then you copy and paste this code and you run it. And though that's absolutely complete and for free. And let's talk about how you can generate a market product description. Gives you an example. tells you what to do if the text is too long. If it concentrates, if the answer concentrates on the wrong details, that all is just wrapping up a question to ChatGPT. The magic happens through ChatGPT, but to even invoke that magic, you need this kind of approach. So that is question number one. You ask, what is the architecture? First of all, there is Python, and in this Python, you talk to ChatGPT. That is found right here. That's the only function that you really touch. You select the model, and today there are more modern models that will be your choice. They're even deprecating this one. There is a 6.13 model version. Before there was 3.14 model version. In any case, that works, and that's where you submit the prompt, your question, and that's where you get the response. So then he goes and explains how you use this function and how you get those responses. So of course I copied it to my own lab. I don't want to depend on that being always available. But for now, it is amazingly available and free. That is your step number one. Your step number two is this course. This is course number 2, LangChain. That's what I'm showing you now. That's my architecture. So first of all, there is Pinecone, and it explains how to use Pinecone. And secondly, exactly what is the library that allows you to talk to ChatGPT? Well, it turns out that this library is called LangChain. That's an extremely popular open source project. And you know, who is the teacher in this course? The author of this project. What could be better? So here they are. Let's go a little bit. Oh, they already started talking. Okay, let me do this. I will stop share. I will share it again, but this time I'm sharing it with the sound so that you enjoy a little bit of the guys beginning to talk, and then we'll stop. No more than 1 minute.
In lesson 1, we'll be covering models, prompts, and parsers. So models refers to the language models underpinning a lot of it. Prompts refers to the style of creating inputs to pass into the models. And then parsers is on the opposite end. It involves taking the output of these models and parsing it into a more structured format so that you can do things downstream with it.
Yep. So when you build an application using an LLM, there'll often be reusable models. We repeatedly prompt a model, pauses outputs, and so LangChain gives an easy set of abstractions to do this type of operation. So with that, let's jump in and take a look at models, prompts, and pauses.
Okay, so let me tell you who is who. This is Andrew Ng, as probably everybody knows. This is Mr. Chase, who created the LangChain. Well, Andrew Ng is the startup Coursera and other things, and he is very well known. That is also another startup, because LangChain is not just an open source project. It is also a startup, by the way, that allows you to do a lot of things. And of course, they have support and so on. So that course teaches you how to build it. There is yet one more course, which honestly I haven't even done. It is this course. The next course, it is about how do you build such systems all together. So I will not say anything about this because I have not done it, but it will look like this. And as you see, different people, and how do you build systems, best practices. Well, what else do you need to build a whole system and to add ChatGPT into this, into your business, into your company, into whatever? That is, of course, compared to people talking about electricity and how electricity will power everything. And if you watch the trip that the CEO of OpenAI by the name of Sam Altman made, then sometimes he talks to audiences that have hundreds and even thousands of people, all of them doing some startups based on ChatGPT. Now, compare this to I teach for one company which has a set of rules to never use ChatGPT. I think that they told me that is their own internal decision right now. And for them, I will do this. I will have to find out what about other models. Now, my personal, very personal opinion, that's okay to tell about it, is that no, you cannot beat ChatGPT. All the open models that I've seen so far are where OpenAI started, 8 years ago, 2015. That's where they started. It's not just a model. ChatGPT is a product with a few thousand, I think 2,000 improvements, major improvements, each one of them for each next version. So when you compare it to, oh, this guy gives me a new model, that's minus 8 years. However, I may talk differently on Thursday, because that will be after I teach the new course. The new course will be about LLM, large language models, that are open, and we'll see how they work. What will change is that in your code, you're talking not to ChatGPT, but to these models. So theoretically, not much, except for quality. That is the story. I gave you the courses you should learn. I told you the architecture. So again, just to repeat the architecture. You create an index which stores your private documents. That answers your question of how do I give it my private documents. As of March 1st, ChatGPT promised not to copy your private documents, not to release them in the open, not to even use them for their own training, and not to even use for the training of training, whatever. In other words, they are private. Microsoft is using the same architecture. You can look them up. They use their own Pinecone. They use not Pinecone, but something else. But you essentially store all of your private documents into your, they call it syntax search engine, with a fancy name because you need a brand everywhere. But the end result is that you query that kind of an engine, you get back a certain number of documents which you control, and then you ask ChatGPT and you say, based on this background, what's your opinion about this? So that architecture seems pretty standard. Maybe it's not perfect because your documents don't really go into the training of ChatGPT. Instead, they only provide the context. But that seems to be the best. And then you integrate it with everything. Now, the tricks come when you start being real, like what I showed here. Some things don't work. They don't work because you messed up something else. The way you break the documents into pieces may be very important. And that's why when I run anything, it's very important how many documents you split, how many documents you get back as a context information. So there are lots of fine-tuning and how you massage those documents. In a little bit, it's reminiscent of how ChatGPT itself trains its models. There are lots of little things that you can tweak. In my practical experience, I thought of giving these parameters to the FAST API and let somebody else figure it out, but it doesn't work well. Instead, I'm tweaking the model inside my code. And when I got the best possible combination, it's not the user who knows about those parameters, it's me. So I get the best possible combination of parameters, and then it answers more or less questions. And you saw that you can ask anything. So let's see, let's ask how serious are these questions? How serious are the charges? Okay. And I'm misspelling, that's okay, it understands. Let's ask it based on these documents, how serious are the charges? He talks about charges. He even quotes PC. That's probably statutes. I can look it up, right? I can look at this. What is it? And I will probably give that document also to the ChatGPT. So I need another bunch of documents in a new case idea, or I think it was namespace. The namespace will contain all of the regular documents. And ChatGPT should know about this, because the lawyers that tested, they already asked, how do you know? Because there was a famous case where the lawyer didn't check, and it was all bogus. But the end result is that, yes, it knows. That's a game changer, and those lawyers whom I work with, they like to be pessimistic. They say ChatGPT will kill us all. But before it does, and that's two different opinions, whether it will or no. But before it does, we can work together very nicely. And that is a game changer. They already saw a few cases where ChatGPT explained to them the medical problems, and that changed the sentence by less than 2 years. And they are on the defense side. That's very important to know. All right. Now I think I spoke enough. I see some of the chat questions, and that's great. Okay, question number 1. If I understand correctly, Pinecone is used for vectorizing and indexing the input document. Exactly, that's a very good way to say. Can it process PDF files that were created from scanned images of the printed pages? The answer is no. But in my system, that is exactly the case. So I send the paper scanned document to Amazon, and they do a very good job at this. Since it's a system that is on subscription, then I can use the best components that are for pay. Those prices are extremely low, all of these services, so they make sense. And I think ChatGPT is following the same approach. They announced a new function calling from ChatGPT, and they also announced 4 times reduction in price, guys. That's more than Amazon was usually doing, like we loaded another 10%. No, they loaded another, down with 75%. So no, it will not take Python, PDF, and you will need to massage it a bit more, and that's up to you. If we replace Pinecone with Facebook AI similarity search, what is the cons? That is also a great question. You can try, but you see, I don't know enough about Facebook similarity search, but Pinecone is very popular with the startups right now. Almost everybody is building on that. So Facebook, we need to verify, are they running it as a service, or is it a user-facing product? That would make a difference. Okay. So I hope I showed that. And for the rest, I keep working on all the projects at once. One of them helps the other. For example, here, when I was showing you, already lost it, but the integration part of Casify, and then that's the API, but then the integration was essentially here, right? So every project helps the other project, and they all a learning experience, and you find out that you're kind of in the sea of those implementations and you're looking for what will help. That's one thing. Another thing is that, for example, the Talmud eliminated. That's what I give to people who are interested. But of course, this is a program interface. No, I need something better. I need a chat that I'm doing with maybe it's working now, and maybe I can show you. React, it's a React application. So that's a lot of technologies. I didn't know them, honestly. I just went to ChatGPT and I said, give me the basic React application. And gave it. Then I said, my fast API doesn't work. Give me advice. It gave advice. So I can make steps, not very elegant steps. And I noticed that when I work with human programmers, they improve it much better. That's a whole big discussion, but practically you work with humans because they're better when you can get them. But some of the things ChatGPT is very good, like talking in any language. You can start talking in it in any language and it will continue. And I'm just waiting to practice languages. I'm waiting for the an application that will be talking to me, because I'm sure they're almost here. I thought that even there was an application for the iPhone, and I have Android, so not yet. But as you can see, happy coexistence of AI and humans. That's my conclusion. And let's check any questions. So what I leave you with is that link. Okay, let me first of all click on allow to talk here. I have a few minutes, and maybe you really wanted to say something and you only had a chat. Maybe that was why you didn't say anything as yet. So here you are. Send me anything that you want. For example, maybe I'm not speaking loud enough. Well, that's because it's a new computer that I never used. It's my lab computer, so to say. Or I don't explain well anything bad that you want to say, but me please. I love that. And so that is your major link. The major link is this. So I'm giving you this link as a final gift for today. Where you can suggest, complain, or do anything at all, and we can continue. We only meet once a week. It's about an hour. And it's sort of improvised because I'm showing from inside the lab, but you can email me, okay, and start a conversation. What other secure models would you suggest? That is next week. I promised you that I'm teaching. Yes, you can get a recording of this meeting, Swapna, and that will be automatic. If you don't get it, well, just reply to any of your emails from us and you'll get it. What other secure models, going back to the question, would you suggest? For example, ChatGPT not saving files or using for training. So for that, there is a promise from official statement from March 1st of this year that they are not using it for training, not saving, and it's safe. But still, there is an interest in other models, and I may sing a different song, as the Russians like to say, because maybe I'll find out that some models are good and not as bad as I imagine they are. So I'll know more. I don't have a suggestion. I'll put this as a question for our next meeting. I think that's an important thing here. That will be the next time. And web development framework. So I'm using Python. I'm using Jupyter and Lab. And then I'm using Fast API for the API. And finally, it is whatever comes on port 3000, which I'm so very little familiar that I even forget its name. But nevertheless, I have it working with the help of ChatGPT. Okay, let's look at all the other. Is the Casify example source code available? No, because that's after all a private startup. But you can get the same from and a better from those courses by Andrew Ng. And I want to really answer on this question. Can I suggest a group project sort of thing? Yes, if that will be interesting enough, because that's like teaching a very large class. So people are interested in different things. Write to me and suggest something, and we'll see if we can work it out as a group project. And if you want to be an organizer for this project. So I see that Swapna is showing some links. Okay, that's what they are. Yeah, that's our link. Okay, good. Is Casify?
This is Kiran Adimatyam speaking. I was the one actually suggesting for that group project.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll share a GitHub link. I don't know where to share because I'm looking similar kind of implementations. I did one with
Email.
This.
For now, we don't have any special way, so just email to me and we'll start the conversation. And my email is at the top of this, the only file that you need. Now, Greg is saying that he can do a training session. That is great. And again, please email me. And the last question is Casify a legal assistant? Would it be okay to generate case documents using this step? Well, you can get into Casify. Usually, defense lawyers go there. It doesn't generate case documents. Instead, they upload them. They get this from the judge. But there is another startup that's doing a lot of similar things as a legal assistant. And maybe I'll show you, they are in the style of legal startups that hide almost everything, 99%. That's how lawyers like to be. You know the joke. You ask a lawyer, do you know the time? He says yes. That's the whole joke. Okay, but nevertheless, I'll give you a link to other startups here. That's next time when we talk. Links. I learned about it from a podcast. We go. Okay, that's next time. Guys, thank you very much. Wonderful participation and great ideas. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So far, all suggestions will go through me because there is no formal place, but later on maybe we'll think of something. Yes, Angie, did you want to say something? Okay, if you just joined, or
Yes.
if anything else, you can always find.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Hi.
Yeah, so this call regarding approved time fitness voice for the month of May.
Excuse me. I think I'm hearing someone else speak. While...
Yes, I'm sorry about this, and I don't know who it is.
Oh, no
But
worries.
what you can do to continue this
If you don't get the
conversation.
mail,
I still like everybody speaking.
Okay, do you want to send that again right
Okay.
now?
Yes, send it to me. Look,
Do you want to send that right now?
Okay,
to-
Henry,
you're sending it to
there's someone named Henry on the line. Can you mute?
@gmail.com?
Okay,
Because
okay,
I have a question.
I just.
Okay,
okay, this is my
Um,
email, so you can always write.
okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to know if the model that you're building, can it be applied to use cases that require
Uh,
precise mathematical calculations? So that's one
hello, hi,
thing.
hi,
Like, for example,
Yeah, hi,
if
this is
you,
Henry I'm speaking with.
I've seen
This
that
is Henry.
some generative
Hey,
pre-trained
Henry,
models.
Yeah,
this is
write
not
to
have
me.
the-
from Spear
Write to me about that.
Oh, good, good.
I'll give you an answer.
Okay, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
I got your resume from Abhishek regarding the position we have of open stack engineer. Right.
I'm sorry about that.
My
Okay,
client is.
Yeah,
you know,
the
looking
session
for
is recorded.
someone
You'll
who
get an
is,
email about
In
that.
California. So what is your current location?
Sunnyvale, California.
And how
Okay.
far it is from Santa Clara?
It's about a mile away from Palo Alto. Yeah, it's about a mile away.
How much?
About 2 miles, about
How much time?
Okay, I'm saying
10
because
minutes, 10
obviously
minutes.
it's much.
10 minutes, right? So, I mean,